What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and today we're taking a look at the Benchmade Mini Narrows. Another one coming to me by way of the Apex Pass Around group, so huge shout out to Zach from Zach Stuff for providing this one for us to take a look at. Now, the Mini Narrows, just like its full-size counterpart, the Narrows, has been surrounded in controversy specifically around its price point, which is $580 for the black version you see here, or $560 for the standard gray version, and that is a ton of money. Now, I do think this is a really interesting knife, a cool piece that I would love to add to the collection, but can't help but feel that it's about $200 overpriced. I think at a price point of maybe $375 to $400, I would have begrudgingly already picked one up, but at $580, it is a tough sell. Now, I'm not usually one to harp on price point, and if you can look past the price point, I do think this is a really cool knife. Now, in terms of sizing, it's the Mini Narrows, but it's still a decent EDC size at 6.95 inches in overall length. It does live up to its name, the Narrows, and so as you can see, super slim handle, which is kind of the main selling point of this, and that's only about 0.28 inches in thickness, which makes it a dream for pocket carry. It's also extremely lightweight at 1.98 ounces, so under 2 ounces in overall weight on this one, so makes it a dream for pocket carry. It does kind of compromise a little bit in the area of the ergos. I think a lot of times great ergos come from thicker contoured handles that fit the shape of your hand very nicely, and this doesn't have that. It's flat, it leaves gaps in your grip, and so not quite as comfortable as similar size knives with fuller handles. Now, the blade stock is obviously super narrow as well to fit in between those handles at 0.08 inches in thickness. Now, the handle on here is titanium. I believe it's anodized titanium to get this black color. The blade is DLC coated, but you can see they're slightly different finishes, so pretty sure that's just anodization on the titanium, but overall I think looks really solid. 3.97 inches allows me to get about 3.5 finger grip on here. My pinky's on there and it's able to grip onto the end of the knife, but it is half on, half off. I wouldn't say it's falling off, but definitely half on, half off. You can kind of improve those ergos a little bit by adding a lanyard, giving your pinky something a little bit more to grab onto. Nice lanyard slot here on the back of the knife, but don't really feel like it needs it. I think for a knife like this, it's an EDC knife that you're going to be doing quick, easy cuts. It's not something you're going to be cutting with for hours at a time. I think for that you might want to look in a different direction, and for those type of cuts the ergos on here are just fine, relatively comfortable, no egregious hot spots of any sort. In fact, no real hot spots of any sort in this standard grip. You can creep up a little bit and get in this little bump in line with the pivot, and I do find that offers me a full 4-finger grip. It's a little bit more spread out, a little bit more comfortable, but there's a bit of a warm spot here with this corner. There's a slightly sharper edge on the interior of these handles that you don't really notice when you're further back on the handle, but when you're up here really kind of tightening down on it, you do feel it. And I would imagine after 10-15 minutes of cutting, that warm spot could quickly and easily become a hot spot. But again, that's you kind of using it outside of its normal use case and a normal grip, but just worth noting there. Really nice jimping here on the base of the knife. Pretty grabby, not overly aggressive, and so like the jimping on here, the blade is 2.98 inches, 20 CV, and we got a drop point style blade, so under 3 inches. I believe the cutting edge is around 2.9 inches once you account for that sharpening choil, so nice size on a otherwise smaller knife. Really nice flat grind on here, swedge up at the top, and we have this sort of flattened thumb stud as well to keep it all in line with the handle, so that's not protruding out. If they use their standard size thumb studs, it would just be sticking up way more and be likely to get caught on stuff as you're sliding in and out of your pocket, because it would be sticking up higher than the handle. But as is, just a really nice placement. Now, I think I already mentioned the weight, 1.98 ounces, so obviously extremely lightweight in the hand, but it still feels really well balanced and all of that. Now, my favorite thing about this is I think they had to redesign the access lock to fit into this narrower handle. You can see the switch itself is a little bit different, and overall I don't know if it's just kind of luck of the draw and this one is extremely good, but this has the best action of probably any Benchmade that I've ever handled. That access lock is super smooth. There's no like click or anything, any sort of lock stick on it. I like the shape of it. You can see it's been kind of redesigned. Instead of the round little tube that we're grabbing onto, this one one has a step sloped ramp, and it's just easier to grab onto, really natural and incredibly smooth. So really great action opening, really great action closing, and really impressive because they had to scale that down quite a bit to fit it into the narrow handle as is. And so not only were they able to maintain the action of the standard access lock, but improve it a little bit, at least in my opinion, at least in this example of it. Now we also have that deep carry pocket clip, the shorter stubbier version that we see on most of the mini Benchmades that's fully reversible. So great ambidextrous knife that works same left or right handed, which is always great thing about that access lock. Overall, I do think this is a really cool knife. I would have a hard time purchasing one of these when I could easily purchase something like a second Sabenza and feel like my money would be a little bit more well spent there. But let me know what you think of it down in the comments below if you've had a chance to handle one, how the action was, because like I said, I feel like this is by far the best Benchmade action I've ever felt, and maybe that does warrant a little bit of extra dollars there. Maybe the new design, the R&D and stuff does warrant some extra dollars. I think $580 is a little bit egregious still, but can picture that warranting a little bit more money. But let me know again what you think down in the comments. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing my video with someone you think might be interested, or checking out some of my other videos. All help the channel out a ton, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.